And welcome to FaceTime segment here on Capital Today with me, Raj Arya. As you have just seen, a very insightful video on a new upcoming charity event for a very, very worthy cause. And I have two people with me here today in the studio who's going to talk a bit more about that particular event, which is none other than Miss Clara Lim, instructor with Dance Step Studio, and of course Deborah Henry, who does not require any introduction, former Miss Malaysia TV host, and of course the co-founder of Fuji School. Ladies, thank you for being on our show this morning.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Fantastic. Now, we all know that charity, CSR projects, doing something for a worthy cause is something which Malaysians can be very proud of in terms of all the various initiatives which they have taken, and of course you with this upcoming project as well. But now let's just take a step back to look in terms of your input in terms of the importance of this. Now, we all know that there's a shortcomings in certain areas. That's why the private sector steps in. There's this talk that this is the government's role. They are supposed to take care of all the underprivileged, the ones who are left behind and so forth. So perhaps, Deborah, could you share your thoughts in terms of how things are today in the world, perhaps in the West as well as in Malaysia?
Well, firstly, I don't think we can put the blame or the focus on just one body doing CSR or charity work. Yes, I think all governments need to play a role in protecting sort of the poorest of poor, sort of the underprivileged citizens with various social safety nets. However, I think it is really every individual's responsibility to also play a role. And when you imagine if you have children, when you bring them up, you tell them, you kind of educate them as to what they should do for other people, right? Always put yourself in someone else's shoes, think about other people. So similarly, I think as we grow up and become contributing adults in society, we too should play a very active role. And like you said earlier, I think it also moves on to the private sector. There has been a huge push towards doing CSR in Malaysia over the past, I think, 5 to 10 years. So you see a massive trend in companies, corporations, MNCs, all dedicating a lot of their money towards charitable initiatives. My issue, I guess, to these companies would then be, well, not just give money to the poor as a basic, the very simplistic way of looking at charity, but really investing, social investments in society that have sort of a ripple effect and are sustainable. And I think that's a challenge I would put towards a lot of companies nowadays, to not just go to an orphanage and that idea of doing good, but really investing in causes, investing in initiatives, and in people and organizations who really have some great ideas of social business, social enterprise, and really changing the lives of individuals and generations to come. Right.
I like the part where you use sustainability. I mean, there's a saying where if you fish, you only feed someone for a day, but if you teach him to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. So I guess that's something which we should look at on a more long-term basis, so that you break the cycle. I think that's the most important thing, breaking that cycle rather than just a one-off good deed, right?
Precisely. And I think coming back to the Malaysian government, it's really that no Malaysian or no individual living in this country falls through the gap. That then there's a problem, or the government perhaps is not doing enough when people are homeless or the hardcore poor really don't have access to education, to healthcare, to their children can't they don't earn enough money to send their kids to school. That's when I guess the government really should step in and relook at policies and things like that. But really, I think it is everyone's responsibility. No one should grow up feeling, or even a child, no one should be thinking that, oh no, I have a great life and it's not my job, it's someone else's job. I think that's very bad. It's a very bad attitude to have.
That's right. Everybody should play its part, and of course education is the foundation of every society. Clara, I understand that you're also quite passionate about charity and been doing it for, in fact, more than 10 years as well. Can you just tell us what actually compelled you or influenced you to doing your part for society and the community at large?
Well, over the past few years, actually ever since Dance Steps has been, ever since we started, we've actually donated our proceeds from our annual school concert to multiple charities and organizations, and of course we would pick those that would benefit children, especially because it would be like children giving back to children. So we felt that empowering all these children would actually help them break them out from their cycle and maybe help improve their lives and create a ripple effect over the years.
That's right. I think the emphasis, of course, that makes a lot of sense. You break that vicious cycle, especially when they're kids. Then hopefully, as they grow up, they can pay it forward. You know,
Exactly.
help other kids, and then eventually things will get better. As you mentioned, the ripple effect,
Yes.
right? Now, one thing on a global scale as well, we have seen some billionaires. For example, the obvious one is the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, which are reaching out to all the other billionaires around the world to contribute to that foundation in terms of helping, among other things, education, of course, healthcare as well, two very basic world necessities, among others, in terms of making a difference on a global scale.
Yes.
So I guess that's something that even not only it's supposed to be left to the billionaires, as you say, all of us can play our part, right?
Yes. Well, they do have a lot of money, so I think they should give it away. They have too much money to spend. I think it's a great initiative, and what Bill and Melinda Gates are doing, and a lot of other personalities, people like them around the world, it's extremely encouraging.
Yep.
And it really goes to show you when you have, I mean, yes, the private sector, they have a lot of money, they know how to invest it, where to invest it, they see impact from their investments.
Right.
It really does show other smaller companies and groups out there that you can do something very similar. And if you look towards China, I remember they were trying to get the Chinese billionaires to join this
It was
pact.
very difficult at first,
It
right?
was, and this also comes back to, I think, developing countries, third world countries. You know, if you've just newly been given something, you're not going to want to give it away. So I think it's also this newly gained wealth and prosperity. You're not going to want to let it go so soon. So I think that was a challenge in China with people signing up and to give away. But also I think it's a good lesson, because looking at the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, you see their perspective and their attitude towards giving.
Yeah.
And then you compare this to other individuals in a lot of other countries and the lack of that attitude. So
Right.
I think it really is something, like we were saying earlier, that stems from education.
Of
You know,
course.
I look at my little cousins who are 7 years old, and their perspectives on charity and giving and thinking about others is extremely different
Right.
to the way I thought when I was growing up. So it really starts off at school when you're young, kind of, I wouldn't say brainwashing them, but, you know, getting them to think
Yeah.
a certain way. And as you get older, it's a natural process.
Right.
But yeah, I think, I mean, it's great to see. I mean, I think what Bill and Melinda are doing is fantastic work.
Right.
And what they're doing is they're showing people the right ways to invest and the right things to invest in.
Of course,
And
of
so I think follow suit. If something works, why reinvent the wheel, right?
That's right.
So, you know, kind of follow along suit with what they're doing.
Right. Now, one thing I've noticed as well, for example, all of us can play our part, and in what you call it, Dance Step case, is using dance as a platform to reach out to others around. And that concept came about was when the founders decided that this is something they wanted to do. Was there a particular incident, or there was a particular experience which suddenly decided, hey, you know, we should do something about it and give it back? Because as we all know, any businesses out there, the main focus is profit maximization. You know, it's about just making money, but we can see that trend is slowly changing with, for example, social entrepreneurship playing a greater role in this day and age. Well, was there a particular story behind it?
Actually, to be honest, I don't think so. But in general, Sharina and I, we do think about all these,
Yeah.
what they call it, charities, and also the people who would actually benefit from the contributions. So we have actually worked with Deborah
Yeah.
That's right.
to host dance courses for the kids from Fiji School.
From the kids
That's
from
right.
my school.
Yeah,
So,
so-
but I think with Dance Steps, you know, it's also, I think with Sharina and Clara, it's being privileged and realizing, you know, what they can afford to give, you can afford to give your
That's right.
students, and the students that come, and how privileged they are to be able to have dance classes. And so kind of being able to share that joy and that happiness and that, I think, expression through creativity, right? It's a beautiful thing with other children, less fortunate
Of course,
children.
easy to connect with kids as well, right? Because this is where they have room to flourish in terms of their
Exactly.
creativity, and of course get connected as well, right? Now, of course, there are many areas. Just coming back to CSRs, you know. Now, there are some companies who feel that they're doing it just for, unfortunately, for the publicity, you know, good publicity, look, we're doing good and that kind of thing. But it seriously should go beyond that, right? It's supposed to be something a bit more meaningful, a bit more, as we were talking about it earlier, sustainable, right?
Yes. I mean, yes, unfortunately there are companies, you know, it's for publicity, it's for tax exemption status.
That's right.
It's because the government said we have to do it, so we have to do it.
Right.
Which, I mean, yeah, I mean, of course you would like people to do it from the goodness of their heart, but it is good that the government has put this in place so people are obliged to kind of give back. But it, you know, yeah, I mean, it should be, and I think it comes back to that whole responsibility. To whom more is given, more is expected.
Yeah.
You know, and so you know, it is a responsibility to play in giving back. And like I say, it's a changing the face of charity. It's not just take some money and give it to an orphanage. It's moved beyond that. If you look what they're doing with Dance Steps, it's their talent, their skill, their ability. So it's for companies out there to look at, well, what are we good at? What skills and talent can we share with someone who perhaps require skill and talent?
Right.
And really changing the perspective of how we look at things. And like you were saying earlier, it's people before profit. Not always looking at your
bottom line, right?
Bottom line and dollars and cents, but really looking at investing in individuals and building strong individuals. And at the end of the day, our future is dependent on our young, on investing in our young.
Of course.
So that's a reality, and I think very often people think that, you know, I can have a really great life, but if their lives suck or they're bad, that's their problem.
Right.
But in fact, the world has shown us more and more that one man's problem becomes another man's problem, and you see it with all the things happening in the world. So it's hard to live like sort of solitary lives, individual lives, when other people are not in a good space.
That's right. Because
so it really is,
because humans are all interrelated. Now with globalization, you can't, you know,
we can't
no
run
man is
away
an
from each other.
island, right?
Exactly. So
right. Now, I think one thing we can see with great pride, especially among the younger generation, is social entrepreneurship. Now, a lot of them are coming to business, but at the same time, they feel that there's a need for them to give back as well as part of their business model as well, which is a great thing as well. So it's not just about bottom line, about maximizing revenue and profit as well. And in this sense, perhaps, especially among the younger generation, it's a good thing to see, right?
Exactly, and I love this because I work with a lot of young Malaysians, and I see this happening a lot from college level to young adults coming into the workforce. People are feeling that they follow status quo. They don't have to do what everyone else has done. They're thinking out of the box. They have startups coming up with new ideas, social businesses, thinking about helping people and not just making money. And I think I love to see that new trend, because honestly, the world is it's so focused on just dollars right now and just materialistic wealth and whatnot. So it's lovely to see this change. And young Malaysians, they're so inspired, they're motivated to do things. And that's when you see all the you see changes happening. You just walk around Kuala Lumpur and you see, you can feel it. You feel there's an energy and there's a buzz. And I think the important thing now is for the parties that the government, meaning private sector,
the different stakeholders.
Yes, the stakeholders really need to allow for an environment that allows us to flourish.
That's right.
They really need to allow young individuals to have access to what they need to enable them to really do
take it to the next level as
exactly,
well, right?
Exactly. And these are the people who will be helping the less privileged, the have-nots in Malaysia and around the world. And they can do it in very creative and interesting ways, which is what we want.
Right, fantastic. All right, well, hold that thought for a moment, because we have to take another commercial break right now. When we come back later, what's going to happen is we're going to focus on Dance4Charity. That's right, an upcoming event in terms of raising funds for a fantastic cause, obviously through the creative arts as well. And we're going to find out all the various charities that it is going to help in the event itself. With that, we're going to take a commercial break and be back very, very soon. And you're back with me for the second part of today's FaceTime interview, where we're talking about Dance4Charity, and with me once again we have Clara and Deborah. Now, getting into Dance4Charity right now, I think, as Clara, you mentioned earlier, it's something that Dance Step is very passionate about in terms of giving back. Can you just share with us how did it all come about?
The idea started in 2002. Sharina Hamza, who is the founder and principal of Dance Step Studio, shared this idea to have a workshop where we would get international dance instructors who would train the local dancers, and they would actually put up a concert which would raise funds for charity. So that was a success in 2002, even though there were only 50 participants, but we managed to raise 20,000, and the proceeds went to the National Cancer Society of Malaysia.
Fantastic. And since then, it's been growing from strength to strength, right?
Well, we've always talked about it because we really feel passionate about giving back to society, and somehow we didn't have the right opportunity, or it wasn't the correct time.
Right.
So finally, this year was the opportunity, because we managed to get the support of Friends to Mankind and also Deborah Henry to come on board to help get this Dance for Charity to bring it to a higher, a bigger level.
That's
this
right.
time.
Fantastic. So how did you and Deborah get connected?
Well, actually, Sharina.
Through Sharina.
Okay.
Yeah, so Sharina is my good friend,
Right.
and the dance step's actually been really great because we've sent our students from our Fuji school, we've sent them to the studio for dance classes. So we did that last year. So there's been a sort of the relationship's been building, and I think
Right.
our kids really enjoyed the dance, and and Sharina and Clara got to sort of meet the kids and to see and to understand their whole situation, and so it was kind of a natural
Progression.
when Sharina asked if Fuji School would like to be one of the beneficiaries for their concert this year.
Right, fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, speaking about Fuji School, can you just share with us a bit more about it and how you became involved with them specifically?
Yep. Well, my first introduction to refugees in Malaysia was in 2008.
Right.
And I visited some families living here, and I saw the harsh conditions they lived in here in Malaysia. And I think for me, I met this family, and they were a family of 4 children, aged 10 to 12, and they had no access to school, didn't go to school, couldn't read, couldn't write, couldn't speak English properly, and my heart just dropped. And I was like, I can't walk away, I can't leave these kids like this in this situation. It's not acceptable, you know? So we started giving them tuition in 2008, and in May 2009, with my university friend Shikin, we both co-founded Fuji School.
Wow.
So it really was born out of a very basic need to educate a child. And that really, like we were saying earlier, that's really the most important thing, because you can really change a life, a future, and generations when you give a child an education. So now today we have 100 students at our school,
Right.
from 4 years old all the way to 18.
Right.
And we're set up in the community where a lot of the Somali refugees live. So all of our students are mainly from Somalia.
Right.
Yeah, and we had a couple of students from Syria as well, because now we've had an influx of Syrian refugees to Malaysia.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, that's great to see. I mean, regardless of your creed, race, religion,
Yes.
basically all kids, all human beings deserve that, right?
Exactly, and we see it as, you know what, I'm Malaysian, I
That's
live
right.
in Malaysia, and this is my land and my home,
Yep.
and whoever else comes here for legitimate reasons, it is our responsibility and our duty to really help them. And so I don't want them to leave Malaysia in 5 years, 6 years and go, no one came to our help, no one cared about our plight.
Right.
And so it's really getting everyone or anyone who really shares the same vision and passion to come together and to really invest in these children and give them an education. Because to put it simply, the issue with refugees in Malaysia is the adults can't get proper work, they
That's
can't
right.
work because it's considered illegal, and children can't access formal schools. So these two issues, when you think about it, if you just think about your family not being able to work and not being able to go to school, they're two huge obstacles
Yeah.
to personal development, to the development of a person. So
That's right. That's right. That's right. That makes a lot of sense there. Now, you mentioned you started this off in 2009, right?
Yes.
That's right. Now it's 5 years. What has changed since then?
Well, we've been growing from strength to strength. We've learned a lot along the way. When we started, we never anticipated we'd be around 5 years later. It was sort of, like I said, they need to learn. Let's teach them.
Yeah.
It was really that.
Yeah.
But it makes everything is worth it when you see the transformation in a student. You see someone who was so reserved, so shut off, couldn't speak, and today they are so confident. You know that kid's going to do well in life.
Right.
And that's what it's all about.
That's right.
Changing lives, and a lot of these kids end up getting resettled to America, to Canada, to Australia. So they leave Malaysia,
Right.
but to know that now their life, but it's investing in a person.
Yeah.
And so their inner strength has grown, and to know that they will go on and to live fulfilled lives, and they will pass it on, like you said, pay it forward.
That's right.
And that's really the important thing here.
Yeah.
Because very often in situations we talk about food, we talk about shelter, we talk about clothing,
Yep.
water as being necessary to survival.
Yep.
But in fact, education,
Yep.
I mean, we see what's happening in the world today.
Yep.
When people aren't really educated, their mindsets, their attitudes, you see how and what they can do and what they can become. So really it's when they're young, investing in them, and that changes everything.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. And of course, funding is so very important for great causes like yours. And I
Yes.
guess Dance4Charity comes into the picture.
Exactly, and I think it comes back to Dance Step's sort of premise, which is children for children, and and our kids have danced with their students, and it's an amazing concert to put together. We've got and instructors coming down from the States.
That's right. That's right. Fantastic.
The instructors coming down and for the workshops. And
Yes.
Right. Clara, can you just tell us a bit more about what's taking place? I understand there's workshops, there's a gala night, and so forth.
Yeah, it's actually a very exciting week.
Right.
So we start from the 15th of September. We'll have 5 days of dance workshops, and the participants will be learning movements from the dance workshops and in a professional setting, and they'll be able to put it together in a professional dance show. And of course, all proceeds from the dance show and the workshops will be donated to charity.
That's right. So those who would like to experience and of course do their part for charity can attend those various workshops.
Yes.
And then of course the big one would be the gala night, where they get a chance to experience this full-on concert, right?
Yeah.
Yes. We'll be offering 4 types of dance workshops.
Right.
One would be lyrical ballet, musical theatre. We'll also offer contemporary and street jazz. So I think it's actually very exciting. A lot of young and upcoming dancers would probably find it interesting to learn dance movements from instructors who are actually very close to in the heart of the dance scene.
Yeah.
Right.
The instructors are J.T. Jenkins and Dawood Jackson. They're both from New York.
Wow. All the way from the States.
Yeah, we're
huh?
bringing them all the way
Fantastic.
from New York.
So I think it's amazing. I mean, for all of you like passionate dancers out there, you don't just get to attend these amazing workshops.
That's
like
right.
what Clara was saying, but you have these 2 amazing dance instructors from the States coming down, and you get to also perform in a concert. So it's not just it's really, you get to perform on the 21st. This huge gala concert. Loads of people attending. It's just a great experience through and through. And like Clara was saying, it's an amazing opportunity. It's like top class, 5-star all the way, and like it comes back to charity. You're doing your part.
Exactly.
You're having loads of fun, which is fun. Like we call it, that's why it's called fundraising, because it's lots of fun. It's it's lots of fun, and at the same time, the money goes back to two charities, right?
Charities.
That's right. Speaking about 2 charities, we know one is Fuji School.
Yes.
What about the other?
Sharina and I actually spent a lot of time researching. And
Okay.
we've decided to make a Wish Malaysia second beneficiary.
Right. I mean, there are many notable and worthy causes out there, but of course, you had to be, you had to do your research and homework in terms of what you felt needed it the most, right?
Yes, because we always thought that we always want to bring it back children to children for children. So basically, Make a Wish Malaysia, they are the beneficiaries are children who are terminally ill, so they'll be all granted a wish.
Right.
So I guess the funds from
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
raise will be able to make their wish come
amazing.
true.
Come true.
To
Yeah.
be able to see the smiles on their face.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's good to see. I mean, children being the underlying theme for this event. Now, you mentioned about the workshops, right? Just now, I'm sure some of our viewers are listening with a great interest. Now, the concern from their part is it meant for those who are professional or really dancers who are experienced, or can someone who is totally new but would like to experience this as well, can they join as well?
We have 2 categories. One would be the juniors, so
Right.
the minimum age would be from 7 and they go up to 11. So it would be good if they have some basic dance training.
Right.
But the senior category,
Hopefully not too left feet. Eh?
yeah,
Yes.
because they'll be able to pick up stuff because JT has come in the past and he has managed to tailor his classes to the different ages and also the different levels.
Right.
So he'll make everyone comfortable during the class. So the important thing is to have fun, even though it will be a technical class, and of course to give it back to society. Yeah.
So there's like a few workshops that
Sure.
kids that anyone
Yeah.
can sign up for, and they don't have to do them all, and they
Yeah.
can do
That's
different
right.
ones
Can
on
pick and
different
choose.
days,
Pick and
right?
choose, yeah.
Exactly, and then they'll put them together, and then some will get to perform on the concert night. So it'll be a great bonding session, a great period, and it's we're all looking forward to the variety of dance performances. But on the gala night itself, it's not just the dancers from Dance Steps. It's also going to be I think you guys are inviting some
We're
other.
inviting some Malaysian choreographers to put up some items.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
And also the participants from the workshops will be putting up items as well because that's the whole purpose of
course.
of the
And speaking about
workshops.
refugee school, by any chance will there be any kids who will be
Our kids-
showing off their talents on the night
No,
itself?
our kids. I won't say 2 left feet, but probably not quite at that level.
Not
so,
quite at that level,
no,
right.
but they would some of them may actually come to attend to watch
Right,
the
to
show.
watch
So
the
that'll
show.
be nice.
Yeah, we'll
And
definitely have them in.
yeah, to watch it
yeah.
and see, and to understand, to see what it's all about. Like you can put on such an amazing, fun event that guests can come and enjoy and learn from, and yet it all goes to something very positive and to
That's
affect
true.
someone else's life. And realizing that we're very lucky, privileged people.
That's
Right.
right,
So
that's
if
right.
we can do something small to change, then
Yeah.
why not?
Yeah, that's right. To give back as well, right?
Yeah,
Make
so
a difference.
Exactly. So, but no, how do we? I mean, for all of you guys, please come. Send your children, your cousins, your nieces, anyone you know who wants, who
Yeah.
loves
Big
dancing.
kids, small kids, bring the
Anyone.
whole lot, right?
Anyone.
Even adults, right? I mean, even the
Yes.
older, yeah, you know,
Well, you
if
don't have to
anyone.
only take part in the dance workshops. You can come for our gala night.
That's right.
Yeah,
Attend
exactly.
and experience. Now, speaking about the gala night, can you just share with us a bit more about it? Where is it held? If they are interested to come, what do they need to do and all that?
Okay, it'll be a big gala night. It'll be on the 21st of September at the
Right.
Gardens Theatre
Mhm.
in Gardens,
Right.
and it starts from 7:30 to 9:30. And if you like more information, you can please contact us.
That's right.
Yep.
And I understand there's a minimum donation for those
Yes.
who would like to attend.
There's a minimum donation of 300.
Right. And then, of course, all proceeds will go to these 2 great causes.
Yes.
Yes, exactly. And so, minimum donation of 300 ringgit for a seat, for a
Yep,
ticket.
sure.
But we'd like to really encourage corporates out there, corporate sponsorship. This is a great gift as well to give to someone who, appreciates dance, to give to your clients, your customers, anyone really. So you can contact Dance Steps and you can
Yeah.
purchase, a whole bunch of seats,
Yeah.
and then just give them away as gifts as well. So I
Yes.
think that's a different way of,
Exactly.
nice and different way of gifting someone.
That's right.
And doing something good.
Now, speaking about this, you brought up a very good point. From your personal experience organizing Dance4Charity, I'm sure you approached some corporates. What has the response been like? Because as some would say, this year has been quite a challenging year for the business community as well, for companies and so forth. How responsive were they?
I think there's been some pretty positive responses.
Sure.
Those who really want to contribute, they'll find a way to help out.
Yeah.
It may not be cash, but we do look for other
In
sorts of
kind, that's
sponsorships.
right.
Yeah, in
Exactly.
kind.
Yeah.
So any way that would help
Mhm.
make the event a success, not during the workshops, but even on the gala
Yeah.
night, that would be perfect.
Right, fantastic. And the great thing about dance as well, it transcends language as well. It
Exactly.
transcends everything because it's like the international language where everyone can feel, they can absorb, and they can connect. Right? I guess that's a great thing about the creative arts.
Yes, of course. Yeah. So this is a great event where a lot of dancers, not just dancers, maybe some who are interested in dance, they'll come together. Will be the opportunity for them to share experiences and also to learn from others, not only from our 2 instructors, but from all the other friends which they will make during the workshop.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I just think it'll be a great week. It's an amazing a series of workshops leading up to this big gala night,
Sure.
and everyone who takes part will just have such an amazing experience. Something
That's
like
right.
this doesn't come by very often. So,
true.
it's been tried, it's been tested, it works.
Yep.
The response has been good in the past. And money has been raised for numerous good charities, so it really is an amazing thing. So just really, once again, to encourage everyone out there, I'm like hugging this.
That's right. Have to.
Like, yeah, please send your kids and get in touch and check it out. And
Right.
it's not, and it is going to be different because we have these 2 dance instructors
Sure.
from the States down as well.
It's
So
not often that we manage to get dance
That's right.
instructors
So this is a
from.
fantastic opportunity, right?
exactly.
Now, it still might be early days yet, but do we expect to see potentially another one perhaps next year?
Well, we've been talking about since 2002. We would definitely love to carry on every year if possible.
That's right. Okay.
Well, with the
It
support,
depends on
yeah.
the support of our
Yeah.
fellow
So
Malaysians.
everyone
Yeah.
knows what they need to do, right? To set the ball rolling,
Exactly,
set the
exactly.
tone. Well, we're almost running out of time. Perhaps, Deborah, one final word in terms of perhaps what other Malaysians and all the global citizens out there can do to play their part. Any words of encouragement?
Well, I try to simplify it for myself because it's really easy to get caught up with the world and with our busy lives, and we
Yes.
forget. But I just apply the golden rule to myself, which is to put yourself in someone else's shoes. And I think when you think of any situation you're in through that lens, it makes you reevaluate, it makes you really appreciate what you have, what others don't have, and to really put things into perspective. So, you know, when you kind of like having pity parties for yourself, kind of wake up and get over yourself, you know?
That's right.
So I think very much that, and to always, you know, put yourself in someone else's shoes, to extend your hand, to help someone in need, to do something for someone else. And I think that's really the biggest reward. It makes you the happiest person.
Right.
And for me, it does. And I mean, and to encourage all young Malaysians out there, teenagers, youth, like I see so many people who inspire me in how passionate they are to live a more wholesome life, helping other individuals. And I salute you guys, and I would, you know, just to say keep it up, and to inspire and to encourage other young men and women around Malaysia and the world to do the same thing.
Right. And not to take things for granted, right? Which we have a tendency to do sometimes.
And yeah, exactly. So, yeah, and also you can check us on my school, Fuji School, www.fujischool.com. You can go to our website and find out more about what we're doing.
That's right.
As well as the Dance Steps website to find out more about this very exciting gala night on the 21st.
Which is, by the way, what website is that?
You can log on to www.dancesteps.com.my, or you can also log on to the Friends to Mankind website, which is www.friendstomankind.org.
All right, fantastic. Clara, Deborah, thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you so much for having us.
It is now a very enlightening experience to see today that there are people out there who like to play their part, make a difference, even in a small way, to the people who are in need out there. So you know what you need to do. From the 15th to the 19th, which is the workshop, and of course not forgetting on the 21st, where you'll have the gala night to see these wonderful performances, and of course giving back to a worthy cause. With that, we're going to take another commercial break right now, and later we'll be back with more corporate news, business developments right here on Capital Today. Stay tuned.